I became interested in becoming a patient and family advisor because my husband was diagnosed with cancer, and I was his caregiver for a year, and he was very ill. And we went to all the appointments together, which was very stressful, and there was a lot of information, and things were moving forward quickly. And it would have been wonderful to have had access to his notes at the time. At the time they weren't available, but I can see how that'd be very valuable in the future for people in this sort of situation.
I wasn't sure about the benefit of sharing notes initially. I got it on the theoretical perspective, and I got the stuff that you see on the websites and you see when people talk about it. It makes for better communication. But I was worried, like a lot of other providers, about what are the implications on my day-to-day experience, day-to-day life, how much more effort would it take? So that's when I dove into it a little bit more and got reassured, and then saw it as my job to reassure others. I asked all of the chairs of all of the clinical departments at the hospital to give me a couple names, and I contacted people, and the vast majority of people were, again, a little skeptical, but eager to be part of the process. And they were very eager to have the patient and family voice in the room, but most of those people had never been in a committee that had that before. So they were a little bit anxious about that, but I talked to them about that as well.
Well, there's a team of maybe 16 clinicians, nurses, staff, people from the communications department, and I believe we had 3 patient family advisors in the group, and we just talked like how we would want to roll out OpenNotes, what we should consider, taking everybody's viewpoint into consideration, and just a lot of troubleshooting, what we thought would be a good idea, what wouldn't be a good idea, and I think it really helped because everybody had a different viewpoint, and we would work together to come to a conclusion that we thought was best.
It was very open and honest. We had very good conversations that engaged the providers and family members in somewhat vulnerable conversations a little bit about what they were hoping to get out of it or what their fears were.
Just talking these things out between all of us really helped. A lot of people changed their minds. Sometimes the patients and family advisors, we changed our minds when we saw their viewpoint, or they changed their minds when they heard what we had to say.
So when we went around to talk to physicians, providers, I think meeting them where they are was important. So for example, we all go to meetings where people present us with data, and so having data about how it worked at other places and how it went smoothly, what their barriers to success were and how they were dealt with, presenting it in a brief way like a scientific presentation, I think helped engage some people. So that was one lesson learned. I'm really glad that we took advantage of the data that was available. And then I think probably the other most important thing was acknowledging that there were going to be issues that will come up, and say, and I think really put it in the perspective of, we are asked and or told to do a lot of things that are based on regulatory needs. We're clicking boxes in our electronic health record that just seem like another box to click. But saying this is something that our patients really want, that usually got people calmed down and engaged and willing to take part in the process.